From everything I'm picking up here in Alaska at the moment, I think it's highly likely there will be a quick follow-up meeting between the Russian and the Ukrainian leaders, probably with Donald Trump in the room as the mediator or broker. That's a role Donald Trump loves to play, but I think that there's a strong chance that that will happen. If it doesn't happen, then this has been a complete failure for Donald Trump. He says there's a 25% chance that this meeting will fail. I think if this fails, I think Donald Trump's wrath will know no boundaries, and I think he will then try to hit Vladimir Putin as hard as he can with sanctions, with whatever leverage he has. So I think that, and Vladimir Putin is the master of subterfuge. He's brilliant. He's played along several US presidents now, and he's probably thinking, I can buy time. Of course, I'll commit to another meeting. He can then meet the Ukrainian leader and then say, oh, we've got to talk about terms and conditions and have another 6 or 12 months of the war and try to claim 21, 22, 23% of land, incrementally just keep claiming land. I think that's Russia's strategy at the moment. It's been very interesting how the White House, Donald Trump, has changed expectations about this meeting over the last few days. At first, there was quite a suggestion out of the White House in Washington that there could have been a ceasefire announced here. Now, clearly, it appears that's not going to be the case. There's so many different factors on which Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky don't agree, fundamental issues, that the chance of a ceasefire is very, very small. Now, clearly what Donald Trump is saying is that for him, success tomorrow, this time tomorrow, will be if he can convince Vladimir Putin to sit down with the Ukrainian leader, Zelensky, and possibly with Donald Trump in the room, and possibly, as Donald Trump has said, with some other key European leaders, for example, the leaders of Germany and France in particular, and the UK, to try to give the Europeans more investment in this. The significance of here, beautiful Anchorage, Alaska, extraordinary weather at the moment for this far north, but significance is, of course, that in the 1800s, this used to be part of the Russian Empire. Russia was in financial trouble and sold it to America for, I think, on average 2 cents an acre or something in those days.
So, John, Vladimir Zelensky has ruled out conceding any territory to Russia. So just take me through what is on the table for discussion, and is there a risk here of the US president making promises without Ukraine present?
Well, certainly that's a concern to the Ukrainians and the Europeans. About a week ago, the fear of the Ukrainians was that these two men would get together here and essentially decide where the new boundaries would be, what percentage of the land that Russia has taken, the 20% of Ukraine that's taken over the last 3 years, what it would keep. Now, the Europeans have launched an 11th hour rearguard action against that quite successfully, and they have convinced Donald Trump that you cannot decide Ukraine's future without Ukraine in the room. That was a victory for the Ukrainians and the Europeans in this diplomatic battle. Now, what it seems now is that the Ukrainians, of course, they're saying they won't give up any land. It's clear the Russians will never give up Crimea, which they took from Ukraine in 2014, and they're wedded to two of the northern parts of Ukraine they've taken, Luhansk and Donetsk. But there are parts of land around there where the Russians have occupied it, where the Russians might be forced to leave under this deal. The Ukrainian concern, of course, is that even if the Russians agreed now to any sort of ceasefire, how do they know that in 6 months' time the Russians won't just do this all again?